On a sunny September afternoon in this quiet Edmonton neighborhood, as people enjoyed the last precious days of warm summer weather, something crept up on them just when they were least expecting it.
I'm Laurie Hahn. I'm your member of parliament.
An election.
You gonna pull a Tom Sawyer on me and make me paint your fence?
I don't think so.
Okay, super.
Some people could be forgiven if they didn't know the campaign was on. Just drive down any street in Edmonton Centre, and in a riding transformed by the oil boom, there seems to be more help wanted signs than election signs. Last election, different story. Anne McClellan, a rare Liberal elected in Alberta, was fighting for her political life.
The West is in now. Canada will work for all of us.
The Conservatives flooded the riding to take the seat, making it a clean sweep, 28 out of 28 ridings in Alberta. Then voters say things got quiet, too quiet.
The reality is there's two people you can take for granted. Those people who aren't going to vote for you anyway, no matter what you do, and those people who will vote for you anyway, no matter what you do. We're in the latter category, and we are taken for granted. I think Stephen Harper's been in Edmonton twice since he's been Prime Minister for 2-hour sessions each and wants to go to a hockey game.
Chapman says it may be just as well Harper hasn't set foot here in this campaign. He says even the Conservative voters are cranky.
We passed a law. We said there were going to be fixed election dates. People believe that. They don't think it's a dysfunctional parliament. They think that this is really Harper trying to make a power grab.
People in Edmonton do have a reputation for being, well, contrarian. So I chatted with a new Canadian. Joseph Lurie came here as a refugee from war-torn Sudan 10 years ago. So what's he think about the election?
It's really premature for elections, and millions of dollars are wasted, which could have helped these people who are having housing problem, these people who are in poverty, these people who are in the young offenders jail. This money would have been used for better things than what they're talking about.
You're really starting to sound like an Albertan.
Well, I'm just critical of the issues that I see, and they are not being addressed.
If I get through an election without spraining my ankle or breaking a leg, it's a good thing.
I caught up with the Conservative incumbent, which wasn't easy, to ask him about this election disconnection.
Hi, how are you? I'm Laurie Hahn.
Laurie Hahn says he's short on volunteers and worried voters simply won't vote.
Does that make your work harder?
In some ways. You know, last time we had a lot of people coming out to help whose motivation was to, frankly, get rid of Anne McClellan.
Yep.
You know, they don't have that motivation this time.
One guy over here who said, depending what's happening, I'm going to vote Conservative, but depending what's happening, I may vote for you because I may want you there as opposed to 28 of 28 Conservatives. Which,
excellent.
Let's go.
Liberal candidate Jim Walkowicz is trying to tap into that voter apathy.
The reason people are undecided, I think they do see the problem with 28 of 28 MPs from one party. They're very ready to tell you they don't like what it creates. It creates a situation where the Conservative Party does not have to pay attention to Alberta, and people recognize when they're not being paid attention to.
There's anger, there's apathy, then there's Donna Martin.
Nice to see everybody here. We have a few people.
The NDP candidate, living with Lou Gehrig's disease, says the Conservatives are catering to the comfortable.
What they are really failing to say is that the issues of ordinary people are not relevant. And we are interested in the ordinary, everyday kind of people. And whether or not they like it, we're here, and we're not going away.
The riding is as diverse as the candidates, with tar sands prosperity, an influx of immigrants, and an underbelly of poverty. There's little affordable housing, and what is there is miserable, according to Joseph Lurie.
In the last election, there has been a lot of promises, issues of housing, issues of immigration, but the same people who are being affected by those issues have not seen that difference. They have not witnessed any difference.
Outside this shelter, people tell me things are only getting worse. Ali is a grandmother on disability who says high rents are driving more people onto the streets, people like her. She hopes the candidates will give the homeless some hope.
I know the one that gets my vote, and I know my old man's vote is going to be the one that at least knows that I'm here. You know, is that for so many human beings, we're not invisible. But I still have hope. There's a lot of people down here that don't have any hope. You know, and if they can hear them, they'll get my vote and everybody else that I know of.
If there's enough anger with Harper for ignoring this riding, enough disgust on the streets over hopes and promises forgotten, then there could be quite a race in Edmonton Centre.
If the stars line up correctly, something really interesting could happen here.
Maybe.
Very maybe, you know, but as I say, it is Alberta, and don't be delusional that it's going to be an exception to the rule, not the rule.
Any questions? Feel free to give me a call.
Okay, thank you
Thanks
so
very
much.
much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
See you.
Laurie Hahn doesn't want to be the exception to conservative rule in Alberta, and that's what keeps his campaign running.
Need to trim the trees.
Mark Kelly, CBC News, Edmonton.